Hey everyone, Pastor Carlos and Kristen here. I just want to say hi. I hope you're having a great start to your week. One quick announcement, there will be no youth ministry events in person this week. Given all of the positive COVID tests that have sprung up in our community this week, we want to give it just one more time through the calendar to fizzle out before we gather again in person. I wanted to just take a few minutes of your time today to introduce to some of you and reintroduce to others of you my lovely wife. This is Kristen, and she is an incredible leader who is doing a phenomenal work with a wonderful organization called Living Alternatives Pregnancy Resource Center. Just at the beginning of October, she transitioned full-time into the Chief Operations Officer role for that organization, which means she works full-time, and not just full-time work, but she leads a ministry, which if any one of you have ever had any role in, which you're a part of this church and you understand, that's more than a full-time job. Sometimes that's evening calls of emergencies that need to be addressed and weekend travels and things like that. But I wanted you to hear a little bit from her and from her heart about the work that she does in the Living Alternative Pregnancy Resource Center. So, Kristen, tell everybody a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
Well, I do it because God has called me to and provided me the opportunity. So I started about 3 years ago as the director of one of the centers. And since that time, I stepped into, I stayed the director of the Kankakee Center and also took on an additional role as the director of education for the whole organization. And then over the past year, I've been balancing the director of the Kankakee Center and the COO role. But like Carlos said, this past October, I fully stepped into the COO role, and I passed off the local Kankakee Center to a new leader, which has been a privilege and amazing to be a part of. Our organization as a whole really works to serve those facing unplanned pregnancies. We are seeking to show them their options, speak life and truth and hope into them, and really foster community and help them learn all what God has designed and called them to be as well. And we do that through a huge list of services that our organization offers. And we offer all of these services through 11 brick and mortar locations. And then we have 2 satellite locations. We have a residential and a mobile clinic. So as the COO, I help oversee all of that. I provide one-on-one coaching to all of our directors and all of the leadership for all of the sites. I speak into the operations of the entire ministry. So my weeks are busy, and I'm also often called into things, whether they're HR items, emergencies, whatever that may be. And it also requires travel for me. So at least once a quarter, I'll be gone for a week, and I'll be traveling back to Illinois or northern Indiana, because we do have locations in Indiana as well. So I stay pretty busy with that, but I absolutely love it. It's complete honor and privilege to get to do my job. And some of the services that our centers offer are free pregnancy tests and ultrasounds, as well as what we call options counseling. So often when someone's facing an unplanned pregnancy, it's just a really scary time. And even if it's a joyful time, there's still a lot of unknown for somebody. So we get to sit and process with that individual and anybody in their circle about what their options are. And we present everything with truth and grace. We offer ultrasounds, but then we offer to walk a journey. We call it a journey of grace, actually, that we walk with our clients. And we do that through education classes where the parents can earn baby bucks and then go shopping in a boutique, which is really wonderful. But we also offer post-abortion support. We offer a ministry called Rocking Chair that is for those facing pregnancy loss or even an adverse diagnosis. And essentially what we say is if anybody's in need of something, they're welcome to walk in our doors, and we're going to figure out how to support them, or we're going to refer them to a service in the community that can. So essentially that's my job, and I get to help oversee and speak into all of that and make sure that we are reaching our 5 core values as an organization, one of them being excellence. So that's what I get to do every day.
Which is incredible, because when someone walks through their doors in that kind of crisis pregnancy situation, a lot of times the only voice in the world is telling them the eject button is your only option, that abortion is the only way to turn. And you help them see that there are different options and other alternatives to abortion for that pregnancy, right?
Yeah. So one of the main things that we often say is that we really seek to love louder than all of the other voices. So in our world, there's just a lot of loud voices clamoring for women's attention or where their worth comes from. And they're not always going to hear what we say to them, but they are going to always remember how we made them feel. So we want to love louder than anything else. So that's really what we seek to do.
And it's incredible, some of the stories that Kristen has shared around our dining room table with the boys. The boys have become used to hearing of about incredible God stories where God showed up in amazing ways to provide support financially for the centers, but then also in the lives of young women and couples who were facing and contemplating that major decision, and they chose life because of the experience they had at one of the Living Alternatives pregnancy centers. So this is an incredible ministry that Kristen works together with the CEO to lead across 2 states and like she said, multiple locations. Just last thing, a couple of the statistics, the numbers of how many people you've seen and helped just over the last year.
Well, I can't speak. I don't have it memorized for the whole organization because I just passed off the Kankakee Center to the new leadership, actually this past Wednesday at the last banquet that I was heavily involved with, fundraising banquet that I was heavily involved with. And the Kankakee Center, so far this year from January to November 1st, has hosted 1,490 visits, which is incredible. And that was like a 281% increase over the past couple of years since I took over. So God has really blessed the Kankakee Center, and He's blessed many of our centers repeatedly. It's been amazing to be a part of. But the Kankakee Center, of course, is near and dear to my heart, and I always am going to play favorites.
And one of the statistics that she shared the other night at the banquet that was incredible for me to hear was that 85% of the pregnancies that they knew about that were considering abortion chose life after one appointment with them at the pregnancy center. So the influence that they have is really critical and important, and the work that Kristen does leading that ministry is amazing. I just wanted you to hear a little bit about what she spends her life investing in. She's an incredible leader doing a phenomenal work with a wonderful ministry. So I wanted you to hear a little bit about that. Also, last thing, just be praying for us as a family, if you would. I feel a little selfish asking for that, but tomorrow, Kristen will go back to Kankakee for about a month with our oldest 3 sons, and our youngest son will stay here with me, and we will be kind of split up as a family for the next month, and that's probably the longest we've really ever been apart, and that's not going to be fun. So if you'll be kind enough to remember us in prayer, we would really appreciate it. Church, we hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you hopefully out and about soon as soon as I get the clearance finally to be off of quarantine. Have a wonderful week.